Growth hack your brand and then destroy anything that moves.
You need to grind hustle your platform manifest.
It's all
And
about
sometimes it's
entropy,
security detail
elegance,
getting
and finance.
hit by a van.
Blockchain.
Invest in real
that's-
estate every day.
Sort of just what
Invest
happens.
in meal estate every morning.
You need to mind hack the mind shackles that are grabbing your mind. Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a day. Eat the man who just fished and you'll eat for a lifetime. Business.
Money hacks.
Hi everybody, welcome to Business Money Hacks. I'm Bridge Stewart.
And I'm Dustin Taylor Hahn. Today we want to talk about the subject of pivoting your thoughts, pivoting your motion, pivoting your movements.
We don't talk about it much to you guys because often in our society, pivoting is looked upon as a sign of weakness. Everybody looks at this person, it's like, oh, they're changing their tactics. They did something wrong. Kill them. That's how I imagine most people view when I change my mind on something, but that's not the case.
The phrase change my mind, that makes it seem like you've made some sort of flub. There are no mistakes in business.
No.
There are no mistakes in business.
Absolutely. Never apologize either.
It's kind of like you're on a boat. You have somebody on the boat who's complaining, where are we going? Where are you taking me? You don't need to tell them.
You're the captain.
You don't need to express any of that. You got the wheel and you just slightly pivot without him knowing.
You don't need to tell the bosun that you're heading north now instead of west. Go whatever direction you need to go. Yeah, let the wind pivot you to wherever.
And if it pivots him off the boat, so be it.
That's the best kind of pivot. When people question your pivots, they sort of pivot away. That's the beautiful thing about pivoting. Mm-hmm. You know, when it comes to philosophies, I always like to use a physical sense. Sometimes I'll just be walking down the street and I'll just be walking in one direction and suddenly, boom, I'm moving in another direction. And that becomes a difficult thing to do when you're walking in like a city, because you definitely run into people. And when they're like, hey, why did you hit me? You say, well, I'm pivoting. I'm pivoting right now. And, you know, sometimes you need to pivot your way out of that conversation because it can get heated.
You'll be walking down a city block with the security that you've hired, and you'll just start turning right into the street. You're surrounded by 6 or 7 men in black suits. You have a force field of human bodies.
Exactly.
And if a car hits one of the men that's surrounding you to protect you, then so be it.
There's a price for pivoting. Mm-hmm. Sometimes your shield breaks down when you pivot. And boy, is it expensive, especially when you walk into the street and that van comes right on through. I lost about half my shield one time when I pivoted onto a freeway. That was a disaster.
Well, when you become the president, you won't have to pay for it yourself. That's on the taxpayers' dime.
Yeah, that's on them.
That shield of men.
That won't be my problem anymore.
Have you considered sort of a shield that not only goes around you on the sides, but also above you and below you, sort of like a ball of men?
Yeah, it's
of black-suited men.
I've played around with it. I got some pretty high-powered drones. And, you know, just put security detail on those drones and sort of just let them fly above me for a little bit. Fortunately, those drones don't have much battery power. And, man, those came crashing down and, you know, took out some of my shield. So, yeah, I had to pivot away from the drone shield.
So, Britt, you've recently pivoted your tactics as you're on the campaign trail.
Yeah, lately there's been some deep ideological divides going on in my campaign. People are angry. People are furious. And this is something that I've had to deal with on a daily basis, and I've had to, you know, pivot people out of the campaign, pivot money to certain areas. Here's the thing. Like, I don't watch the news. Like, that's like not something I really do. I make it a point not to watch the news. Keeps me fresh, keeps me sharp, keeps me on my toes. Yeah, so I turned the news on the other day, and man, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on that apparently I need to address. And yeah, so that's really influenced my campaign right now, and there's a lot of opinions in my campaign. So
you hired a lot of different types of people, am I right? Like you kind of just picked out from a crowd, I'll take you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in. Just picking people up across the nation.
Yeah, I mean, I'd roam the streets, and if I liked sort of the the cut of their jib. Like if it was mostly based on what they were wearing. If they had some kind of cool, flashy clothes, I was like, hey, this guy would be great for the campaign. Turns out that was I won't say mistake, but it was a path.
It was a pre-pivot. You preempted your pivot.
It was a pre-pivot. This whole hiring off of clothing style. A questionable pivot in some way.
I really dig your sweater. You want to be my campaign manager?
Yeah, there's...
And Sir Spalding O'Henry, you two are kind of on the outs at the moment.
You know, a big reason why I did hire him was because, man, he has quite the sweater collection. If you walk into his closet, my God, just sweater after sweater. But, yeah, we've definitely pivoted away from each other. It was a disaster. I'll be perfectly honest. A lot of screaming, a lot of physical altercation with him and other campaign staffers. It's been intense. It's been very intense.
Well, one thing you did mention was the country apparently is divided in a certain way. A lot of people have
apparently,
I don't know how, a lot of different opinions. I guess people are angry.
It is very difficult. I mean, I'm just trying to play catch up with this news cycle, to be honest, because every time I turn on the news, something new is happening. So now my whole mentality, instead of just not watching the news at all, I wake up, watch about an hour, let that sort of sink in, and then go into my campaign office and say, pivot in this direction, because something happened in the news. We need to pivot towards that. And that's become a daily sort of ritual for me as I walk into my campaign headquarters and scream at people in beautiful sweaters.
I mean, I think it's a great idea that all of that's being recorded. You have a live feed in your campaign office. The entire time, everyone sees what you're doing. And somebody in your campaign has made a supercut of every time you've said, "No, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore." And it seems to be every morning.
Yeah, I might have to actually pivot away from that. That's become quite the distraction. People have been watching that quite a bit online and sending us all sorts of mail. It's become a legal issue because, I guess you can't treat campaign staffers like that. You can't be screaming at them and, physically assaulting them inside campaign headquarters. So it's become an issue. And plus, any sort of campaign secrets we might have, those are out the window with the live feed.
Yeah, anytime you have any private discussions, like having your social media manager just sort of put that out there. Freedom of speech is the first thing. Freedom of speech also means tell everybody everything at all times.
That was definitely the idea going into it, just complete transparency. The problem with complete transparency is that anybody can get in. Like, people can sneak in and steal your stuff. The idea of a beautiful openness to this campaign has really led to a lot of theft.
A lot of rats in the coal mine, as they say.
And a lot of literal rats. I mean, we just sort of kept the doors open, and we've got a lot of rats up in that campaign headquarters.
What do you think that is, the reason for all of the rats just swarming the building?
Well, we provide food. When I told my people, they're like, well, how are we going to stock the kitchen? I said, just cheese. I've always felt like that's how people work most effectively and efficiently, is by just a pure cheese diet. And
a cheese diet.
Yeah, just cheese all day. And that's led to a lot of rats.
I would think a refrigerator might be a good idea at some point. Maybe you would want to invest in one of those.
Yeah, but I heard they're kind of sort of a cesspool. I mean, I've heard that keeps a lot of sort of germs in them and stuff. So I've sort of avoided refrigeration on this campaign. Overall, I'd say this campaign is, we're constantly pivoting. We're constantly not moving forward. I'd say moving sort of in a
sideways direction.
Kind of a zigzag direction. Like sort of zigzagging along. We're thinking about making that our campaign slogan is, Bridge Stewart for president, zigzag towards the future. Yeah, it's been a lot, especially in the last month. Oh my God. But one thing One thing I've been noticing.
You guys still have old modems at the office.
We're using AOL dial-up. That's pure transparency. You can't. That's like a glass window for the internet. One thing I noticed, the last time we were on sort of a video call, I was kind of curious, what's going on with your face? Like, what happened?
You noticed my face.
Yeah, it's...
I guess...
Were you using like a filter or something on that? Like,
no filter here. Well, let me ask you, what have you noticed? Anything?
You had a very prominent chin, extremely prominent, very pointed. Very, very strong. I've seen very few chins like that in my life. Large eyes, extremely large eyes.
Let me tell you one thing. It's just getting started. I have pivoted my face. I met this man in a lab coat, Dr. Hessmeyer, and he is a plastic surgeon. And he expressed that he could fix it. I said, "What do you mean fix it? What are you talking about?" He pointed at me, at my head, and he said, "I could fix it."
Wow, that's pretty heavy.
I've just been starting to realize, like, oh, the way to feel complete is to just sort of tweak. Is his words? We just kind of want to do a little tweak. So that's where this chin came from.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting phrase to use as tweak. Those are some heavy tweaks. I would dare say it's not even a tweak. I mean, you look like a cartoon of Uncle Sam or something, or like Duke Nukem. It's quite a transformation.
Chin. No, Dr. Heffmeyer said you're going to want a strong chin, and I said, oh, I kind of like my chin, but he insisted. So here it is, my strong chin. I'm going to look at my profile here. It's I kind of look like a half moon.
Yeah,
but apparently Dr. Heffmeyer says a strong chin will get you where you need to be, and I really need to pivot somewhere. I don't even know where I'm supposed to be pivoting. So I'm kind of trusting Dr. Heffmeyer. He is a doctor after all, so I feel like things are more clear.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So just for context for the viewers, you had pretty heavy reconstructive surgery about a few months ago in order to repair an acid attack.
There was an acid attack years and years ago that I lived with, and I had this mask that I would wear, and I realized show people who I am. So I fixed my face, and I looked great. I think. Yeah, but as Dr. Heffmeyer says, he gave me a card and says, "You don't look great." It said it on his business card. So he is a doctor, and
he's a doctor. You're sure of this? You're sure he's a doctor? Like he's licensed?
I asked him about that. He said he's looking for it. He kind of was digging in his office. There's a lot of paperwork in his office. He's got a lot of work. He works down in Beverly Hills. He said he'll find it.
Wow.
That's sort of where I'm at. I think a couple more sessions and then he said I'll be ready.
Oh, so you're planning on doing more after this.
I mean, the chin's not done.
Chin's not done.
No.
Like the chin isn't. Are you pivoting towards like a smaller chin now, or?
Well, I'm supposed to he says it's going to curl up so that it's towards my nose, and then I could hook things onto it. If I lose my keys or something.
Okay, that's pretty intense. That's pretty insane. I'm just going to say, I think maybe you're pivoting too much. Sometimes, it's great to pivot, but then, when you get on the pivot train, sometimes the cars are overloaded on the pivot train, and it goes right off the tracks.
With a train, there's only one track on at a train station. You could only go in one direction, so I'm going to
But what if that track is, headed towards, a gorge where there's the bridge is out?
Then I'll pivot down.
Wow. Okay. So this is
full steam ahead.
Wow.
Next time you see me through the video chat,
all right. I mean, that's your decision.
I'll be a whole new man. Let's just say that.
That's wild. Yeah. I personally have never gotten plastic surgery. I kind of have always just loved my face. I often, after watching the news these days for an hour, I'll just step into the bathroom and stare for another probably 40 minutes or so, just deep looks at my face because I appreciate it. It's kind of like looking at a beautiful work of art. It saves you a lot of money. I've never gone to a museum. Why would you need to go to an art gallery when you've got a beautiful mirror on your wall.
Well, the mirrors in Dr. Hefmeister's office, I mean, he says those are true mirrors. He was explaining to me that most mirrors that are in, bathrooms that you would buy at any store, most mirrors are incorrect. So what he has in his office is a true mirror, and that's I could show you one of these true mirrors, and you can see how you actually look.
A true mirror. So most mirrors are fake, is what you're saying?
This mirror is a very expensive mirror. This mirror, as he says, it shows you your true self, and oh boy, I did not like what I saw.
What did you see in the true mirror?
I saw my true self, and it was horrific. My face, which what I thought looked perfectly acceptable, it was warped. It was stretched out. My chin was, I didn't even have a chin. It was just mouth to neck. There was a lot more. And then the body, he showed me his true body mirror, and oh boy, I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy has a way of seeing what you can't normally see.
I mean, that's a little disconcerting on my end because, I've been looking at a mirror I bought. I don't know if it's a true mirror.
That's a fake mirror. Where'd you get it?
It's a Gucci mirror.
Those Gucci mirrors don't work. They're fake mirrors. Those don't work.
This is very disconcerting. I might need to contact this man. This
Dr. Hefmeister. Yep.
Yeah, this is going to be really nagging me in the back of my brain. The fact that I've been looking at a fake mirror all these time, I haven't been seeing the real self.
Yeah, he gets these mirrors from Central America, but he says they're very rare, and only he has them.
Only he has them.
So we could either buy a true mirror from him directly or somewhere in Central America. I'll look into it, Bridge.
I'm definitely, after this conversation, going to have to go into my campaign headquarters, scream at my campaign manager about getting whatever mirrors from Central America I need to get in order to see my in order to in order to see my true self. Yeah, that's not going to go over well on the live feed. Let me tell you that.
So that's where I'm at right now, and
I might need to think about pivoting as well. My face, pivot my face as well.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the future. I'm very excited for the future for you as well. We'll set up an appointment. I'll help you out with that.
I hope that educates you on the importance and necessity of pivoting.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Be sure to subscribe to at BMH Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, and tell your friends about this, because hopefully one day everyone will get a true mirror, and then we can all see our true ugly selves.